absolutely destroyed. 98% of the buildings in Barbados are gone. Homes, everything. The shelters, all gone. So the Antigua government has moved every Barbadan from Barbados to Antigua. So that's an easy transition. Maybe politically not, but economically speaking, Antigua has that responsibility. So we move all those folks to Antigua. So I'm mentioning this to give you an idea. There are folks from the BVI coming over to Antigua. There are folks now from Dominica who has no place else to go but their relatives in Antigua. And we are seeing the emergence of a humanitarian crisis that we are yet to see the regional leaders address. People have no homes and they're moving. And as they move, the crisis spreads and it deepens. In countries that have very little resources, small budgets, no budgets at all for these sort of humanitarian issues, now have to grapple with that reality. What do they do and how do they do it? So as we move from the storm and the impact of the storm, there is that piece that we wish not to have forgotten. There are people displaced, people needing assistance, people needing help, and some of our partners in here, and you stood a while ago, who've done such a fantastic job. We urge you, as the humanitarian crisis emerges and the realization of the cost on the countries and the businesses that are going to participate deepens, that we will get some considerations from all of you as you recognize that this part, because there are really a few parts to this crisis. There is the immediate response, there is the humanitarian response, there's the rebuilding response that will come, and then there is the next phase, which is the back to normal. We are far from going beyond the humanitarian section, and that part requires a little bit of soul searching to see how we can manage. So, as I said earlier, I'll be depending on Stephen Bell. He'll be my best friend for the day and tomorrow. So when he stands up at the dinner tomorrow night, that he's talking about relief for the BVI, relief for Anguilla, relief for our friends in St. Martin. Now, if you can understand the impact of the storm in St. Martin, we don't have St. Martin at a CSA conference, and I don't know when that has ever happened. I mean, they're normally here in full force, but I can tell you, having seen their country, looked at what has happened there, those of you who do business there, it's been a very difficult time for that island. We've never seen 200 miles an hour winds. We probably will not say that we know it's over, but what we do know is that our region has been changed forever. And what we do going forward must change our attitude and our response, because what I can tell you is there are markets where no one heard a word from for 2 or 3 or 4 days. And in 2017, there are things we can do to fix those. Also, we have no resiliency backed up to deal with some of these issues. These are not our issues, because we are shipping companies, we are small entities in the mix, but there are influential people in this room who can raise the level of concern that came from what happened in these markets to get some action. The region has to build in greater resiliency in the event that something like this ever happens, and it may very well happen in the short future, because we're still in the hurricane season. But in a nutshell, we've had lots of deaths. We've had the evisceration of the private sector in Dominica for sure, in St. Martin for a while, in Anguilla for a while, and in BVI. GDP, these things are no longer any questions. It's survival.